we're live. You watch it live. You can watch it on the internet when it's
Oh
done.
wow.
Sometimes
Okay.
we edit it, but we're both bitches with jobs, okay?
Is what it is.
A motherfucking
Is what it
time.
is.
It is
So
what
you
it
were
All
is.
saying that the algorithm would push it if they wanted, if the message was gonna, if they wanted that message pushed.
Oh
I just
yeah,
wanted
they
to
do.
clarify
Because
that.
like I listened to a show that it's, I forgot what it's called, The Daily Bean, and it's these two progressive white women, and it's called News with Swearing, and they be cussing and calling Donald Trump names and shit, and I'm just like, they push what they want to push. You know what I mean?
True, truly. Because I also watch these two progressive white women, but it's I've had it podcast, and yeah, they be tearing his ass up. And
Right.
this week they've been calling Christy Noem's husband something big titty something. I don't know. All week that shit's been having me crying.
Ugh.
Okay, so
Shout
where do
out to
we
the
want
Tiggo Bitties.
to? Huh?
I said shout out to the Tiggo Bitties. There's no
Big
judgment.
old titties. No judgment. No judgment, right? And normally I wouldn't even like we're not laughing at the fact that like you're a dude who wants to have big titties. We're laughing at the fact that you're a super duper conservative who like hates who hates anyone who's not a straight white rich man, but the whole time you're on the internet
Right.
selling
And the
big
fact
titty
that the person
nonsense.
who turned him in is probably an undocumented brown sex worker.
Yeah.
Mm.
As you should, boo. As you should.
Yes.
Okay, so before we jump off the deep end into the shit show that's been going on around the nation, so it's called Black Behind the Chair, Kenny. We talk about beauty industry stuff generally first, and this one's just really quick because I don't know if this would have hit your news feed, but Dudley Cosmetology University closed after over 50 years in business in the industry last month. And it was a Black-owned cosmetology school. It's literally responsible for like a generation of Black hairstylists. Huge influence on the beauty industry. The patriarch passed away this past year in 2025, and now the original location, I believe it's in North Carolina, just closed. They do still have some other locations though, so I didn't know they have a spa in Greensboro, and they also have schools in Chicago and DC. And his wife Eunice just cited changes in the industry and parking as factors, but she's moving on to a sister daughter with the family's beauty business in High Point. So I just wanted to give Dudley Cosmetology University their flowers. I was influenced so much by them early in my career. I know a ton of hairstylists that went there, so wanted to say their names.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So Impact, we were talking before Kenny came on about the shit show. Where do we want to start this week? What are we starting on?
So much. So
Like
much.
I know one of the things that we touched on together before Kenny hopped on was about the Kimberly Clark warehouse fire in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently there's been like roughly 6 additional fires. Have y'all been seeing this?
No.
So there were the Kimberly Clark warehouse fire in California, and then that in Ontario, California. Then also in Ontario, California, in the mall, someone set a fire inside of True Religion jeans. There was a warehouse in New Jersey, a warehouse, I think, in Chicago. There's been a total of 6. And Amazon just went up either today or yesterday. And I'm seeing footage on Twitter, even though the news cycle doesn't seem to have caught up. And we didn't mention Kendrick has joined us and is an attorney. So, what I would like to know is if this is your client, because the guy in the Ontario warehouse, recorded it and put it on IG. So this is your client. You just got called up to come be this guy's attorney. What are we doing, man?
I mean, listen. So I mean, each arson case you're gonna tackle differently. First of all, you said my client put it on IG. I don't know that to be true. I don't know
Fact.
who put
That
that.
might be AI. I don't know. My bad. Allegedly.
I don't know who put that on
No,
IG.
for real.
I also did not see my client in that video.
No.
I heard a voice. I saw a hand. You know, we're gonna have to see what the voice experts have to say about that, right? So I
Word.
mean, it's like any crime, right? Like the first thing you're gonna always start with is like, can you even prove that was my guy? Like
Yeah.
the man you got sitting here today, can you prove that was him? Like that's baseline. That's baseline for everything. But I hear he's been chirping. So it seems like the whether it was him or not issue is going to solve
There's not a lot
itself
of doubt.
here.
That, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, so they say. And then I think you really just got to look at the law. Like I'm not an attorney licensed in California, but I took a quick peek and it seems like, you have an intent hurdle to climb, right? And so like you could be charged with arson even for burning something small, right? So he could have just held one of those toilet paper rolls and burnt it up and still be charged with arson. But there's degrees to the arson, right? And so the question is, was he just trying to burn a roll? Was he trying to burn down a whole building? Did he expect that? Because there's no accelerants, right? Like I haven't seen any evidence of accelerants of
I
any.
haven't heard that there was. It's just a warehouse full of paper goods.
Right. But
Yeah.
like you got to ask these questions like maybe he only intended to burn a couple things, and then you got to look at them like, so where was the sprinklers? Why was this able to spread through an entire building? Like it's just one dude with a lighter should not be able to burn down an entire building without fucking accelerants. Like that's crazy.
That is insane.
That's where this was my
Yeah.
client.
No, that is crazy.
That's
Yeah,
where
they're lucky nobody got hurt because everybody would be getting paid off that warehouse, no?
I mean, maybe, especially if
Well, I
they
think
didn't have.
there was only 20 people working there, so I'm
Yeah.
sure it was easy to get all of them out.
Yeah, like where was the sprinkler system? Like clearly to me there was something went wrong that a singular person with a lighter could, like, I mean that was a 6-alarm fire. They had like 19 different fire departments there, bro. Like nobody with a lighter should be able to cause that unless they set in a gas station on fire. You know what I mean? So
No, for
I
real.
think you really have to. I think at the end of the day, though, if with a case like this, like let's just say it is him in the video, and he's not even full on denying it, but for whatever reason he's dumb and wants to go to trial, jury nullification is all you got. Jury nullification is all you got. And you're not even allowed to argue jury nullification, right? Like you can't say to a jury, you can't say in front of the
That's
jury,
an
you're allowed to
option.
rule however you want, even if you think he did it, right? Like you can't tell them to ignore the judge's orders. Juries do it, and we know they do it. So then you have to sell them, you really have to sell them a narrative that's going to make them want to do that. And I think the narrative is sort of that like proletariat argument, right? Like the rising class people, the working class people are like rising up and saying, we're not going to take this no more. We're tired of being abused. We're tired of being underpaid. We're tired. We're not, no pun intended, we're burnt out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like, I think if he was my client, that's where I would go with it.
No, I love that. As I was watching all the different, videos of different fires across the nation, I was just thinking like, I remember, the song "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised," but I'm like, it's looking like it might have an IG channel or a YouTube channel. So, because, and the other thing is, like, me and Impad talked a lot about Luigi Mangione, whose trial is coming up, I think, in October of this year, when that happened, and how they thought that they were going to really like hype us up to be mad at this man. And so when they were figuring out that he had all this support behind him, they just kind of started trying to smother the stories. And so I feel like maybe that may be the case with these fires too, that once they realize that people are like, yeah, set it off, they're going to start trying to smother these stories because they don't want people getting ideas. And I also think they're like, we're gonna start seeing all this, these are terroristic acts, right? Because it's always violence. When like we set shit on fire, it's violence, but when they build data centers in Black communities, like, that's not violent. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Even though it's clearly not coincidence after 400 years of watching y'all batter and abuse us, but okay.
Right. It's violence when Palestinians defend themselves, but not so much when the Jews take over occupied territories, other territories. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I think like what I think we're seeing like sort of like three things, right? Like we're seeing betrayal, like people feel betrayed by the healthcare system, right? Like they're resentful and they're upset. And then you're seeing like this like sort of economic insularity and like this mass class divide, right? Like because I think the trust gap between high income and low income people has like doubled just since 2012, right? You're seeing that. So you got all that working class grievance, and then you just got this like generational disillusionment, right? Like you're looking at people who are like 18 to 34 years old, and they're looking at our parents' generation, these fucking boomers, and they're like, what the fuck? And you got these boomers looking down at them saying, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Like, nigga, you pull
calling them lazy. I don't even have any boots, bitch.
Right. Like you were buying whole ass houses for the same price I'm buying a car. Yeah. Like, stop talking to me.
Less even.
Yeah. And so I think that plus, I don't even want to say perceived inequality in the justice system, but like how people are perceiving the justice system, really how people are knowing the justice system. And I think it's even more heightened because we do have so much access to data and this information now, more than we ever did. And people are fucking tired. Like, however you feel about it, you have to acknowledge that like this shit didn't just come out of nowhere. This ain't TikTok's fucking fault. Like this is real. These are people in their real lives every fucking day.
Word. Sorry, D, I'm just now seeing this. I tried to share Luigi's mailing address and TikTok took it down. And that's one of the reasons that I don't post on TikTok a whole lot. Because, Impad, do you remember? I don't even remember what our topic was at the time, but we had a show that like, it was just a really good show in my opinion. And so I was posting clips from it, and we got like 3 or 4 warnings and like strikes to our TikTok account within days. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, whatever, I'm not posting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were worried about TikTok being owned by the Chinese, but then they sold it to people who are worse, a bunch of fucking Trump-controlled goons. So, like, I got off of TikTok for that reason. Like, I now have a TikTok account that I use for work-related access so that I can see things when people send it to me, but I gives it no time or dollars. I just don't.
Data. Yeah. So then with everything, because you just said a mouthful in terms of like perceived inequality, right? Actual inequality over, hundreds of years at this point. And with that said, like tax season is coming up. Like not tax season, tax day, due date for taxes, Wednesday, right? And like the great poet and philosopher Tupac once said. They got money for war but can't feed the poor. And now you think I'm about to pay taxes? You can take my money and blow up kids halfway across the world. So I realize you're not a tax attorney, but I'm curious, um, what how long do we think it will take if people stop paying taxes, like as form of revolt? Like we revolted over, or as a country, right? They revolted over like tax on tea. And now we're just letting them take 40% of our pay like it ain't shit. Like I said, so they can blow up kids halfway around the world, so they can fuck kids and not go to jail for it. So they can build data centers in poor communities. Like, so how long is it going to take? And what are the chances that we're actually going to go to jail if we don't pay taxes? I'm just asking, hypothetically. What'd you say?
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
My name is Kendrick Washington. I am an attorney. This is not legal advice. I am not licensed.
Not your attorney.
I am not licensed in the state of Georgia. We are talking on a very public platform. Therefore, there is no attorney-client confidentiality. Okay. Nigga, you going to jail.
Yeah. How many thousands of dollars does it take?
Like you're my third favorite cousin, and I promise.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
And I promise I'll be there for you, but you go to jail. No, I mean, listen, if everybody did it, and I mean everybody, like a real, like the way Europeans do strikes. That we can never seem to do. Like we'll never do a general strike as a country for some reason.
We are some punk ass bitches.
But that part. But if everybody did it, they probably throw a few people in jail trying to make an example. But like at some point, they're gonna run out of money to pay the people to put in jail if we're not paying taxes. Like that's what it is. But as an individual, it might take them a few years to catch up to you, first of all, right? Like they don't audit every single person. Like you could probably get away for a period without paying taxes. Like people do it all the time. But eventually they catch up because the IRS man wants his money. And then it's just going to be a matter of if you continue to refuse. Because if you continue to refuse,
yeah,
they locking you up. They putting the bracelets on you. I mean, we got lots of tax evaders in this country. You got to hire you some wealthy white boy to help you figure out how to hide your money. JK, that is not legal advice. No, I mean, to me though, yes, that could be great, but like getting people to do that is weird. That the idea that we could get people to do that, but we could not get people to vote these motherfuckers out of office. You see what I'm saying? Like people don't have the fucking will to do the hard shit. And voting is easier and legal. Trying to get people to do some shit where they avoid paying their taxes and risk jail time, like motherfuckers ain't got the stomach for that shit.
Okay, but what about, because I understand what you're saying, and also when you voted for 20 plus years and you just keep watching politicians be corrupt and promise all the things and do none of the things and pardon their friends and laws for thee and not for me, and like, so I understand why people are disillusioned by. And then even right now, this is a conversation that Impat and I have all the time, because the Democrats are fucking hard-headed. They think they can just do whatever they want, and we're just supposed to vote for them because they're not Trump. And that, I hope we've gotten to the point where that's no longer, like, we're not doing that anymore. I keep saying, if they put Gavin Newsom on the Democratic ticket, come on, man. Come on. Like, you're not even trying to win, right? In my opinion.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I don't disagree with any of this. I think at some point something big I think something big still has to happen. The Democrats are still hard headed. I don't think they're less hard headed. I think they think that they're still going to be able to turn this ship around. And by turn the ship around, I mean get back to a place where they have just enough power that they feel like they have some measure of control, and yet they still don't have to actually answer to um,
Anyone.
anyone that's not wealthy, right?
Yeah.
And they still think black voters are going to keep showing up for them. Although this recent election should have been a scare. I mean, that's why Eric Swalwell or whatever his name is hasn't jumped out of that fucking race for governor in California, despite 4 credible accusations of sexual abuse and harassment. Like these motherfuckers really think they could do what they want to do. I
And
don't.
so far they've been able to.
Yeah,
So why wouldn't
yeah.
they think that? You know?
I think it's gonna take something big, and yeah, I guess if like I don't know, 35% even. I don't even think it has to be a crazy number. If like 35% of Americans just refuse to pay their taxes, um, then maybe. I mean, the problem, part of the problem is our taxes are for people who are regular wage earners and not business owners. Our taxes are really already paid.
Mhm.
This shit in April is just, oh, here's a few scraps I might owe you, or turns out you might owe me some of my money back.
Mhm.
I
Which is
think,
why I've seen people, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. I am a hairstylist. I am not giving anyone advice about shit except their hair. Um, but I've seen people mention like taking all of your deductions, like claim zero exemptions on your tax so that they're not pulling taxes out all year. But then that means at the end of the year you owe taxes and you have to deal with the consequences of those actions.
yeah. And again, I tax law is so far out of my realm, I can't say. Sounds good in theory.
Yeah. No, for real. All right. What else do we have? What do we
I don't know.
um
MCAT being quiet, I feel like she about to blow some shit up.
yeah, you
Well,
gotta watch her because she
all this
definitely will.
conversation, I was thinking about Josh Williams, who got arrested up here in Ferguson, a political prisoner. And I was just thinking, like, he should be out. Like, he was only supposed to serve like 8 years.
I don't
And
think
then,
he's
like,
out.
he's not.
No.
And yeah, just the talk about like the arson and everything. I'm just like, yeah, like he's in prison for like some bullshit reason. And like, yeah, who's checking up on him, being like, hey, when
Yeah.
do you get out?
Yeah. And I actually just looked him up not long ago, like in the last 5 or 6 months, and he was still in prison. And that was Ferguson was in 2014. So that was almost 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And the video that I saw that they were claiming was him looked like a white person to me. It didn't even look like him. So I don't know.
Well, and it's like, okay, even if we want to believe like the arson thing, like he set the allegedly he set a garbage can on fire. You're telling me, and stole a pack of gum. You're telling me that's worth 8 years in prison?
But he's serving 12 at this
And
point.
and he's still in there. That's fucking
And I
crazy.
think a good chunk of it was in solitary confinement too.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in there. When did he? Do we know when he actually went to prison though? Because like when he did it versus when they arrested him, charged him, sentenced him, all that is like that shit could be years.
It's a good question.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been it's been at least 10. I think he's been in at least 10. I don't know if Dee is still online with us, but I remember she was writing him letters early in, so she might actually remember more.
And then they fuck you while you're in too, right? Like they'll put a charge on you on the inside and add more time to you, so you don't know. Like some white boys jump him and he have to defend himself, and next thing you know, he didn't cut somebody. Like, I'm not saying
Yeah.
he did that, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not that hard while you're inside to get new charges and get some time added on. A guard get too rough and you punch the guard in defense of yourself, and now you getting charged with assault and battery. They're gonna slap another 6 or 7 years on your itch. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this says he was arrested December 26, 2014 at age 18. And then he was sentenced December 2015 to 8 years in prison. And this says he was released in December of 2022, but I don't think that's true.
Interesting. Okay, well then we'll
Yeah.
have to see if we can find him then. If
I
he's
have to
out.
do some investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, keep us updated on that. I'll reach out to Kay about it too. She might know some things.
Well, and I thought of him because I'm pretty sure one of the well-known activists put on Facebook, she was like, I just got a phone call from Josh and I need help with something. And then I was like, oh yeah, he should be out by now. But I was reading the comments and they were like, no, he's still in there. And I was like, what? So I'll have to go back and see if I can find that post.
Crazy. So Kendrick, I'm curious. This is another curiosity for me because you have a son of age to be drafted, and we are in an unwinnable war. You're former military. I am curious about your thoughts on a couple of things. One, the missing pilot story that just disappeared faster than Trump's ear healed after the assassination. But also your thoughts on your son potentially being called to be sent to Iran.
Let's start with the pilot. What specifically about the pilot?
Well, so he has been rescued allegedly over a week ago, right? Roughly a week ago. Do we even know his name? Have we seen any interview? Are we talking about it at all anywhere on the news? Was it real? Did it happen? Was it a psyop?
It's hard to say because it did seem like the Iranians were looking for his ass. The Iranians were looking for his ass, and if they had found him, we would know about it. So I don't know. It could have been that he actually bailed out and got rescued early, and they just made it seem like he was still over there. With this government and the amount of lies, you don't know. It's possible. I wouldn't want my name and face all over the news though. If I was that pilot, that's for sure. I wouldn't want nothing to do with nothing. Please keep my name out of it. Mess around and sign the wrong Temu contract, and you're gonna be flying for China in the next war. But no, I don't know. As for the draft, listen, I got 3 friends in Canada, couple in Belgium, Switzerland, and some other countries. That's my plan if they start drafting for my son, because you're not sending my son nowhere to die for nothing that ain't got shit to do with nothing is the long and short of my response.
Yeah. Dee says the pilot's family is speaking out and they have not spoken to him. So that's what we know about that. So he was allegedly rescued, but we know they be lying.
Maybe he's not doing well, or they found the body. We don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine being out there on the run in the middle of the desert or wherever you are in Iran, trying to hide. Basically, you got to hide from everybody because everybody finna be a snitch.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I follow this account on Twitter that is is it defection? Is that what it's called? When like you are signed up for the military and then they want to send you to war and you don't want to go and you can like get out and still like be released with like discharged honorably, even
If
when
you're
you
like a conscientious objector,
that's it right there.
yeah,
Conscientious. Yeah.
yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah. So they said people have been coming out the woodwork reaching out to them. And I remember when you were getting out of the military and we launched into some dumbass war and you like had a date to get out, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And then they like stopped. What do they call it?
Stop
Stopgap?
loss. Damn, you got a good
Stop
ass
loss.
memory.
I've been worrying about you, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, back in the day when I worked for the whatever you call this government. Yeah, I was supposed to get out. I was supposed to get out in 03, 04, somewhere around there. And then George Bush did a stop loss and I was like it was like the day before I was supposed to get my paper to get out. And they told me I wasn't going nowhere. I thought I was going to jail. I thought I was going to jail that day. My commander called me in and he was like, he could see it on my face. He's like, shut the door. So I shut the door. And then he was like, take off your jacket. So I took off my military top. He's like, all right, you ain't got no rank. And he took his off. He's like, I ain't got no rank. He's like, I'm gonna set this clock for 5 minutes. Say what you got to say so you can get this shit out your system. And I cussed for 4 minutes 59 seconds. 5 minutes.
Right.
And the only reason it wasn't the whole 5 minutes was because I had to pause to take a breath once.
Right. Literally. Yeah. Insanity.
I'm just like, draft. Like, y'all niggas, we're losing. We're already losing. Like, stop it.
You were literally losing before you ever fired the first missile. What are we doing? Right. Like, I'm a hairstylist and I know that attacking Iran is a bad idea. So I'm confused as to how you, with all these trillions of tax dollars and advisors of people who like really understand this shit, don't understand that. I don't know.
They told them. That's the thing. Nobody except maybe Pete Hegseth told him this was a good idea.
Yeah.
That's why Pete's out there firing generals now, because he knows they think he's dumb. I mean, he is dumb.
Yeah.
But like, nobody thought this was a good idea. Like, and then it's like, and then they're like, oh, ceasefire. We're claiming victory. But oh yeah, the strait still isn't open. And I'm like, my boy, you didn't win. If they still control the flow of oil for like 20% of the world, you didn't win, my guy. Like, that's not a victory. Like,
and then I saw today, now they're blocking the strait.
Because Iran got smart and said, you know what? Now we're gonna make money. Now you bitches want to come through. Now that we realize we really control this shit, pay me. And we didn't like that because we the only ones that's supposed to be getting paid.
Yeah.
We didn't like that shit. It's like, oh shit, look at this capitalist spirit. We want everybody to be capitalists. They being the biggest capitalists on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even mad at them.
I'm not mad.
Shit's not mad. Business. Shit's none of my fucking business. I don't got shit to do with the strait. I don't own that shit. I believe in clean, renewable energy. If I had my way, we'd have been off the gas addiction.
Yeah. Solar, wind. Yeah.
Like, why do we always have to go to war? No one's sitting down and having a conversation. Like, this can't be discussed over email. We got to send nuclear bombs.
And see, right. So right. Circling back to the worthless ass Democrats, this fool literally threatened to obliterate Iran with nuclear weapons, and the Democrats didn't say shit. But you want us to go and vote for you in the midterms? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here. I can't deal.
Yeah, it's hard to want to vote. Like, we need at least 2 more parties before I feel like we could have a party that maybe I really actually want to vote for. Like,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah, I
even
mean, because that's the thing is two parties is not a democracy.
at
A
all,
two-party system is not a democracy.
at all.
Well,
Like,
if I remember correctly, the Democrats are the reasons why we don't have
Mm-hmm.
more than two parties.
Well, and even in California, they're fighting right now. They're because what's his face that was running with your girl in the Green Party?
Butch.
Yes, is also running for governor in California, but the Democrats have like basically conspired to keep him off of the ballot. It sounds like. What do you? Right, because again, this is you'll be
Well,
voting
and
in
they
that
kicked
election.
a lot of Green Party people off the ballots anyways. And I think in
Yeah.
11 states it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, they don't want it. They'll either kick you off or they'll absorb you, right? Because
mhm,
the closest we saw, which was in the worst way possible, but the closest we saw to a legitimate third party was when the Tea Party was on the rise. Because they were kicking up fucking dust. But
and I
then
just
they
watched.
basically just got absorbed into the Republican
Yeah.
Party.
Well, I just watched a podcast the other day that was breaking down how the Tea Party was actually like the beginnings of MAGA. And now MAGA is currently rebranding into America First, and the Democrats are still sitting around with their thumb up their ass, blocking people who actually want to do real work. So,
I mean, it's you know what it is, right? Like it's like you probably seen that meme where it's like Republicans and it's a plane with a bomb, and then it's Democrats and and it's a plane with the bombs, but it's got a rainbow sticker and an Africa sticker and a heart emoji. It's like
literally,
right. I mean,
literally.
Democrats are Nancy Pelosi kneeling in a daishiki, during Black History Month. Like, fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah. And so that's what I mean.
that's
That's
so
why
embarrassing.
it's literally, and I'm like, and that's why I can't be mad at young people who don't see voting as the thing that's going to fix this, because it's clear that the people who are in power have no intention of allowing real change to happen. Like they like shit the way it is. So why would they allow us to change it by voting?
Right. It's profitable.
Yeah. So I mean, I get why young people are like they don't want to. Like I don't want to.
I remember one time I told one of my clients, I want to say I think she was 78. And I was like, I don't know. One of my radical things is like, I don't think you should be able to vote after like 80 years old if you can't pass like a certain test. And she was like, what? And she was, a Democrat and everything. And I was like, you are no longer voting for your future. Like you and now it's like, different because now people are living longer. But
Yeah.
it was just like, no, why does this 80-year-old with fucking dementia get to go out and vote? Because it's their right? Huh?
Not vote. No longer voting for your future is diabolical. That's filthy work.
I know that was a little, but I was just in a mood.
I mean, and you're not wrong, honestly, but you're hoping that they're voting for their grandchildren's future, right?
Yeah,
You hope that.
absolutely.
But when their grandchildren were at the fucking Klan meeting, watching you hang and castrate people, you know what I mean? You're voting for those grandchildren. Well, that changes things.
Yeah.
That just changes things a little bit.
No longer. Wow, that's filthy. No, I mean I feel you. The part of me that gets nervous about any restrictions is because it's like once you let these motherfuckers put polling
It's a
tests on
slippery
one end of
slope.
the spectrum,
Yeah,
we
it's a
already
slippery slope.
we already know it ain't even that slippery a slope because we've already seen it. You
Mhm.
know, like we know it's not even a slope. We know it will happen. It is a thing,
Mhm.
right?
Well, and
So
it's already happening even.
yeah, yeah,
Well, and I
Yeah.
always think of that one politician, that old woman that was like in the home for like 6 months and no one knew where the fuck she was.
you have to narrow it down. There's so many old politicians.
Yeah, there's so many. But like I think everyone got worried because they thought she was missing or something. And it
Yeah.
was like, "Oh no, she I think had a stroke or something and was in some like nursing facility."
Yeah. I
And it's
remember
like
that. I don't remember her
she's
name, but
supposed
I
to
know
be
who
a
you're talking about.
representative.
Yeah.
Huh?
Same with Mitch McConnell. Same with Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's
I
been
mean,
turning into fucking
that motherfucker, he dead
playing
at the
free.
podium. That nigga be like,
Yes.
well, I
Literally.
They're like, Mr. McConnell, sir, like slap
that
He's
him.
our representative.
that's some
Yeah.
weekend at Bernie's shit right there. Like they just puppeting that nigga around.
They literally are.
He is not okay. Like let this nigga die. Like somebody don't send him to Jesus.
I
No,
know
for real.
I'm always like referencing like movies and stuff, but I'm sure you haven't seen it. But have you seen Dead Silence? Probably not.
No.
It's a creepy like doll ventriloquist movie, but long story short, I'm gonna spoil it. You find out that the woman is like ventriloquize, however you would say that word, a human. And it always has made me wonder, like, I bet some of these people are like fucking dead, and who knows? They have a
Absolutely.
caretaker that's just always there, like
And
helping them do things.
and that's on both sides because Mitch McConnell dead, Joe Biden was dead.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
it's on both sides. Like some of these kids, I forgot who they announced recently was running for re-election, and they're like 86 years old. I'm like, the
Get
fuck?
the fuck
Like,
out of here.
at what point don't you just want to relax? Like, fucking take a break.
They
If I'm
don't. They
still
want to
working at
keep
86. Kill me.
they want to keep stealing the souls of children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for what to what end? Because the shit's not making them look any younger.
Nah.
Like, it ain't a fountain of youth, clearly.
Yeah.
I think it's like legacy. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because we ask this question all the time, like, what's the end goal here? What's the end game?
What is the point? Like you've killed all the people, you've stolen all the wealth.
Yeah.
Like
You're
everyone's in
destroying the
prison. I'm like,
planet.
now what? Right. You've
What?
destroyed the planet. Like, yeah, what are we getting to? Yeah.
And like, I think, this Artemis that just happened is like cool and stuff, but I'm also like, why are we trying to go to space? How about we fix our planet that we are currently living on? Why
Yeah.
are we trying to see if we can go live on fucking Mars? You know
Yeah.
where we can live, where proof of life is existing? Right here. And what are we doing? Destroying it.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm glad they found a real black person to go to space. And you never know. But when I saw him putting lotion on in outer space, floating upside down, still moisturized, I was like, oh, they found a real one. I know that's besides the point, but
No, yeah. Like, I don't ever want to discredit that because, yes, that's amazing. But I'm like,
also, right, you know how much money it costs to send these motherfuckers around the moon for a couple
for
laps?
10 minutes?
Well, if it's any consolation, I went down the conspiracy wormhole and it doesn't look like they actually went. So
Stop
at least
it.
there's that.
Stop it.
Like they were showing video of the little pod when it landed in the ocean and talking about how fast it came through the atmosphere, but there's no smoke, like zero smoke, no
Stop.
steam, no nothing.
We are not. I'm gonna send you something later. We are not doing this.
I can't dive into that one right now.
Right. You ain't taking enough of the right math courses to convince me we're making this shit up. Like,
Yeah, I don't. Math is a foreign language. I don't math for real. Okay, but speaking of the souls of children,
Oh shit.
I definitely do want to, while we're on, I want to hit this Sharice Doyley case. So for people who are not aware, Sharice Doyley is a Black woman and licensed doula in Jacksonville, Florida. She was in active labor when the nurse wheeled in a screen, and on that screen was a Zoom meeting with the circuit court judge and lawyers who were trying to force her to have a C-section. She actually testified for 3 hours on this Zoom meeting with no fetal distress, by the way. So, yeah. So for me, that's terrifying. And I'm not even like having any children, right? I'm a grandma. I'm not even having children. But just the idea of being in labor and them forcing you into a court hearing, trying to force you into having a surgery that you're literally licensed to make an informed decision about on your own body, with no attorney present. Like, there's so many issues here. So I went, and then so she had they had the court hearing. She testifies for 3 hours, no fetal distress in the whole 3 hours. The judge finally decides, he says that she could try, he gives her permission to try for a vaginal birth unless there's an emergency. Overnight, she's awakened in the middle of the night to them wheeling her into surgery. And she ended up giving birth by C-section. So again, I wanted to hand it to the attorney to kind of give us some thoughts and insights there.
Yeah. So one point of context I would add is that, or it's not even context, it's additional to what you said. She also, during that hearing, said she would like some Black healthcare providers, right?
Yeah.
Because she didn't trust what these folks were saying. And I think that's sort of I think that's all part of the larger story. So what, I mean, I wasn't super familiar with this until a few days ago. And I think what this really boils down to, and we can go all the way back to Obama and him not being able to get that Supreme Court justice on because the Republicans stalled him out, and the Supreme Court, because this is all about the Dobbs case, right? Where they overturned, basically said the right to your abortion depends on your state. It's not something for the federal government to decide, and state by state. So she's in Florida, and she's not the only one. She's actually the second person that I'm aware of that this happened to in the state of Florida. So when you don't have the right to an abortion, as they made it really clear in Dobbs, you don't have, at least not a federal right, then laws like the one in Florida come into play. And so Florida has that, what's it called? I believe it's called the fetal heartbeat law or the fetal personhood law, which basically says that the fetus inside you is a living person. And I'm not saying this to give excuse to the doctors. So you're taking a situation where Black women in particular are already treated way worse than their white counterparts in these medical situations. And that's going back to going back historically, but even as recently, someone as famous as Serena Williams, like, your wealth does not protect you from this, right? So you've got all of this already where medical patients think that our skin is thicker and that we're less prone to pain. You got all of this against you. And then you take this Florida law, and now not only do you have this bias from the doctors, but now you got the doctors scared because what they see is if they don't do this thing in a way that saves that baby's life, they could be held liable. They could lose their license. So now you're up against people who think they can lose their job, and now what you want does not matter as much to them. as maintaining their license and their privilege. And whether that's right or wrong is debatable, but like we aren't shocked that people don't want to lose their jobs, right? And so you've just destroyed the odds for Black women having any sort of bodily autonomy in these situations. Like it was already bad, and then the Dobbs decision fucking destroyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminded me too of what was her name in Georgia? I think Adriana Smith, maybe in Georgia. And we talked
Mhm.
about her last year, who was the Black woman who was she was by all intents and purposes
Brain dead.
dead, brain dead, and they kept her body alive because she was pregnant when she died, and they kept her body alive so that she could be a human incubator. Um, yeah, that was infuriating. And now, so the baby is out of the hospital now. He just got out recently, like in the last few months. But of course, he's got a lot of issues. Um, and the family's on the hook for all the hospital bills and all of the things. And yeah, it's gross and it's terrifying, honestly.
It is.
Um,
I mean, I'm not a woman, but if I were a woman, I would be petrified.
yeah. Yeah, and like the point that Impact and I have made all this, over and over is like if you just created a society where women felt safe and comfortable to have children, you wouldn't have to make all these crazy ass abortion laws. Like make it so that I can afford to go to the hospital and give birth and like raise a child and have be able to feed it and clothe it and have daycare and maternity leave and make all those things possible and people will happily have babies. But y'all want us to give birth in prisons and smile and do a tap dance for you while we do it. It's crazy.
Right. And you know what's even crazier is that, you know, there's lots of debate about diversity out there in the world. You know, for me, I'm always like, diversity is nice, but it's not nothing if you don't have inclusion. But in this instance, diversity really is safety, right?
Mhm.
Because you're talking about Black women actually having statistically worse outcomes with white providers. So you can
Mhm.
actually make Black women safer by providing them Black doctors. So diversity is actually patient safety intervention.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, it's making me think about, again, in the last few months, there was a couple of Black women that went viral in emergency departments where they were giving birth, and like the one white woman, was intaking them in the emergency department and was like refusing to transfer her to labor and delivery. And the woman ended up like giving birth in the chair, I think, in the emergency room.
Mhm.
One woman was turned away and gave birth in her car. Like, yeah, we know that all the things, like you just said, that statistically Black women are not believed and not heard. And so I had a client this past week who recently had a miscarriage. She's 40 something. She had a miscarriage and she needed to have some pill that she needed to take so that she could expel, the baby who no longer had a heartbeat. And she was having a hard time getting a doctor on the phone because everyone's on spring break here this past week. And so apparently the doctors are out of town on spring break and the nurse over the phone wasn't being, so she ended up having to kind of lose it on someone at the doctor's office. And she's also a woman of color. She's from Venezuela. And we were talking about, she had mentioned that there's a OBGYN shortage in the state of Georgia, which I didn't know. And I'm like, really? That's weird. What's going on? She said, well, because of the abortion laws, a lot of doctors are choosing to leave Georgia because they're uh, they feel like their licensing is at risk. They can't make the decisions that they want to make or need to make because they feel like they're choosing between their license and some, yeah. So
And their freedom, because they could end up in jail.
yeah. Crazy.
So infuriating. Imagine going to medical school for all those years and like knowing what the best option to do and being told like, actually you can't because this finance bro voted against it and said that this was illegal. Sorry.
Yeah, so for a couple of years now, I've been saying every time I wake up and the world's not on fire, I'm shocked. I'm like, okay, we're doing it again. But it looks like maybe the world might be on fire. Maybe we're getting closer.
Little bit.
Getting closer. You got any white people's business for us to be in this weekend, Pat?
Do I? Let's see.
I thought I saw some on there.
The Taylor Frankie Paul situation. Do you know who she is? She's from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Okay.
And she was supposed to be the next ABC's Bachelorette. But a video was released and it was her throwing chairs at her baby's father after an altercation that they had. And so, and I'm not for violence or anything, but it was just crazy, like when the video dropped. Like literally the show was supposed to be released that week. And then all of a sudden, TMZ had this video. Mind you, this incident happened back in 2023. And no one has seen this video other than the people that were involved and the police. Because in the show, she got arrested for domestic violence. Like there was a mugshot and everything. So like we as the viewer knew that. Yeah. And I think one of the chairs unfortunately did hit one of her kids. In the video, and again, not to excuse anything, but in the video, he literally, like, as she's throwing things at him, he walks over towards her kids. So I kind of think he did that on purpose. And
where's the recording from?
He's recording it. He is. Mm-hmm. And I want to say in the video, he's like, see, how am I supposed to talk to you this way? But now we're finding out that before this incident, he had went over there because they're a very toxic couple anyways. Like they shouldn't be together. But he went over there and wanted to talk to her. And she said that she didn't want to do it in front of the kids. So she was like, we can go sit in your truck and talk. So they did that. Well, he took off with her in the car and the kids are at home by themselves. And her kids are all young, like all were under the age of 5, I think. So, and then this is where like things get, we don't know whose truth is told. She said that he like took her head and smashed it into the dashboard. And he claims that like she was going crazy and hit him. So
you said this is a Mormon wife show?
Yes.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Which number
Secret
wife
Lives
is
of
she?
Mormon Wives. What'd you say?
So which number wife is she?
Okay, so they're not polygamous. You're thinking of the FLDS. Yeah.
I just assume if it's a whole show about it, there must be like all the wives. Otherwise, where is the drama coming from? But okay.
Well, it is funny that you say that because like they got popular because there was a swinging scandal. But
on TikTok,
I think
you wouldn't know because you're not on TikTok.
Right.
But I do remember
you're thinking of there is Sister Wives where it was 4 women married to 1 man. So, like, not to discredit you. And they were Mormons. But there's a difference between like LDS and FLDS. And the Mormons really hate when you compare them with the polygamous Mormons.
Stop.
Even though that's what their ancestors were doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna shut up so that I don't get jumped on the street by some dude in a buggy. Oh no, wait, that's Amish. Okay. Let me stop playing. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, there's just that drama that Taylor's show got cut because ABC pulled The Bachelorette. They're like, we're not going to play it, even though it's already filmed, like already edited. And then
Your
Dakota.
favorite president is fucking kids, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm so confused about how we're so judgmental.
Well, and Dakota, so the woman is Taylor Frankie Paul, and Dakota is one of her children's baby fathers. He is able to go on a show, and his show is being, played out, even though their trial is currently like happening. And it's like interesting how this all works out and who gets in trouble and who doesn't.
Crazy.
And then again, because I'm not for violence, but Dakota was saying how he feared for his life. You should look up Taylor Frankie Paul. She's maybe 115 pounds. And you're telling me you were scared for your life?
They pulled the white cop thing. Hey,
Okay.
I'm going to Kenny. I know I hit all my attorney questions, and I know you have other things going on this weekend. So we are probably going to gab about who knows what for another hour. So I would just want to release you back into the wild.
No, I appreciate joining in. This was fun, and we didn't talk about reparations today, but maybe have me back, and we'll
definitely have to have the conversation about.
We'll get on that. I was reading up about that deed theft too. I'm like, this is crazy.
I mean, yeah, we have to have you back on for this because those are actually two really important questions. And before we let you go, I just need you to know that you are the only man who has ever been on this show and probably will ever be on this show. Just know that.
I hope I represented well, and that I understand why y'all choose the bear though, and I understand. Yeah. So like, I get it. I appreciate you. I feel special. I feel loved. I hope some folks learned a few things, and have me back sometime.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
There we go. Yeah, I just wanted to, because I know he's like, I know we are not talking about this.
Right. He was like, do I need to be here for
that? Did you see, speaking of white people's business, did you see people on Twitter are salty because it's Coachella right now, and people are mad because apparently Justin Bieber was on stage with like a MacBook and a TV screen and just like singing along to his YouTube videos.
I did see that. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Justin Bieber, for me, he's one of those people, I don't know if I can truly be mad at him.
I love Justin.
I mean? Yeah, like, I think he is a talented artist. I definitely think he has gone through some things that I don't know if he will ever share. And so he's just one of those where I'm like, I'm giving you grace. And
I went through and watched every video. I thought it was adorable.
Yeah.
I love Justin.
Well, and I think there's a bigger meaning here, right? I think he's been in the spotlight a lot. So I think he was trying to look back on his old life and be like, wow.
Look how far he's come.
Maybe right. And maybe a little bit like, maybe I was a little naive too, to think that I was getting everything that I wanted. And like, again, who knows what he has gone through to be in the position that he is in now, you know?
Yeah.
Because didn't he just get into like a little argument with Usher at, was it Usher? At
Yeah.
one of Beyonce's parties?
Yeah. Yeah. Allegedly. I mean, I wasn't there, but I
Right.
heard on the internet. Yeah.
And then did you see Usher made a statement about P. Diddy and was saying how, like, well, I never saw that he was, you know, doing any of that. So, like, I can't say that he's this awful person.
I just feel that Diddy had to have reached out to him and threatened him. I mean, you know, when we talk about Epstein being a blackmailer and understanding that that's not the only blackmail ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like what's his face, Jonathan Oddie. Remember, we talked about him in a past episode, the guy that did the shooting at Trump's hotel during the first Trump presidency. And you can still go to YouTube to this day and watch his oh, what do you call it? When the police, his interrogation, and he's talking about how Diddy hires him and he's Diddy's sex slave and Diddy is the head of the Black Boule in Hollywood and blah blah blah. Like
Mm-hmm.
and this is well before we had heard of any of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody just thought he was crazy until all of this stuff started to come out. And now when you go back and listen to it with fresh ears, it's like, wow. So I wonder if, and I think you've brought this up before too, about people coming in and being victims initially, and then it being held over their head, and then they're the perpetrators. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wonder, I just think, I bet that there's something going on with Usher that he can't speak about. And there's a reason why he came out, because I know he knows damn better than that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're going on tour with Chris Brown.
I was just about to say,
What
like,
is going on? Like, are you trying
literally.
to ruin your legacy?
Well, and I'm also like kind of over certain people too that are like, you know, stop violence against women and like speak up for women and blah blah blah. But you're buying a ticket,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah,
What? And like,
yeah.
I don't know, like I can get nostalgia, right? Like
Mhm.
sometimes does a Chris Brown song come on and do I skip it? No, I let it play. But
Yeah.
then I'm also like, but I would never like spend money to go see him, go support him, like anything. And
Yeah.
even if he was walking down the street, like I would not acknowledge him.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'd be like, "Who? Who are you?"
Yeah. Yeah. I just got into a whole debate, for lack of a better word. It wasn't even a debate. I was trying to like get him to shut up talking to me, and he just wouldn't. Um, this guy, my daughter and I stopped to have a drink after work on Saturday, and the bar that we were in was like, there, it's all white people. We're the only black people. And like all these black songs are playing, and specifically R. Kelly. When R. Kelly came on, I'm like, who in the fuck in here is playing R. Kelly? Like, what's going on?
Mhm.
And so the bartender and there was a black guy at the end of the bar that I just hadn't seen. And so he must have heard us ask about him. So now he wants to come down and talk to us. Well, first of all, nobody invited you down here to have a conversation. And then he
Right.
wants to talk about R. Kelly. And I'm like, well, he's a child molester. So, and he's on the, well, you can separate the man from the artist. And, you know, I support R. Kelly. I don't support Robert. And I was like, I mean, and that's fine, but I don't fuck with R. Kelly. Like, you know, so, and he wants to just keep talking about it. So ultimately, I literally had to turn my back on him because he just kept talking. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. He's like, well, no,
Right.
because I asked him, I'm like, do you have daughters? Yeah, I have daughters. He has nieces. And I'm like, okay, well, just understand that if you're expressing these opinions in front of those young women, that they know that you're not safe to come to if something happens to them. You know what and he just was not trying to hear me. I literally had to turn my back on him because he was pissing me off. Like, stop talking to me,
Yeah.
bro. Stop
Right.
talking to me.
The more that sometimes I think about, like, oh, you know, you got to separate the art from the artist. I'm like, okay, but in a lot of these scenarios, how many times have these people used their art to do what they, to cause more harm? Like,
Literally, this is actually again a conversation that's being had right now today in the hip hop community because Africa Bambaataa died this week, and we've talked about Africa Bambaataa on this podcast when the allegations came out that apparently he was a very well-known pedophile in New York City all during the 80s and 90s. And it was an what do you call it? An open secret. Like everybody knew he was fucking little boys. And now he died and people are on here talking about RIP. If that P doesn't stand for piss, I don't know what we're doing here. What do you mean
right.
RIP? No, he is a fucking child rapist who was
Hmm.
never held accountable. This is, and
Hmm.
I don't care what you contributed to. Like if it's because he contributed so much to hip hop. I love hip hop. I am hip hop. But if it's that, fuck hip hop.
Right.
Like there has to be a line somewhere. And for me, it's fucking children. That's not okay. It's never okay. No.
Hmm.
Absolutely not.
100%. Yeah, like
My
I
blood pressure is up. Jesus.
no, it's because it's so real. It's like, so I should just excuse all this harm because they've impacted the culture?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
And he's
know.
like, well, if you, every artist, blah, blah, blah. And you're probably right. But if I don't know, I can't hold them accountable for something I don't know. But we know for a fact that Robert Kelly is a child rapist. We know this for a fact. Convicted, in prison, realistically for the rest of his life. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's too easy.
Mhm.
So we can't even agree on this simple thing. How are we going to agree on that we need to set this shit on fire? Like, so
Right.
just get away from me, bro. Get away
Right.
from me. Because you're about to piss me off.
I get Do you like documentaries?
I love documentaries.
Did you ever watch the one going back to the FLDS? Did you ever watch the Keep Sweet Pray? Was that the one with Warren Jeffs? He's the leader of the FLDS.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What's it called?
I'm looking it up. I want to make sure I give you the right name.
Okay.
Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey.
Okay.
Is
Sweet like SWEET?
yes.
Okay, so say the whole title one more time.
Keep Sweet,
Mhm.
Pray and Obey.
And while we're talking about documentaries, just today, I actually haven't watched it, but I bought it today. It is called, hang on, I'm gonna tell ya. It is called Alabama Brawl.
Oh, the prison.
No, we talked about that. No, this is actually like
Oh,
the Alabama Brawl, right?
yeah.
Where the guy threw the hat on the
Yeah.
was that Montgomery?
Yes.
So some guy went down there and like filmed a whole documentary about it. And I think like originally maybe Amazon had picked it up and then they passed and then something else happened. So now he's just selling it himself. And so I bought lifetime access to it. It was $11.99. I'm just like, if we don't put our money into things like, you know what I mean? So like I bought it. I just bought it today, but I haven't watched it. But yeah, it's
Okay.
called Alabama Brawl. Yeah, it's literally just called Alabama Brawl. I'm trying to see, what does that say? Yeah, it's just called Alabama Brawl. So I'm assuming that there'll be, of course, all the footage, you know, but I'm hoping that he went and like interviewed people who were
Interviewed some of
there
the people.
because Yeah, no, I loved how we were all very we were on code that day.
Yes.
That is
The
and I
Black
love how,
Avengers.
huh?
The Black Avengers.
Yes. And I love how it's now an unofficial holiday and we're like having cookouts on that day. Like, I'm here for it all. Like, if
Yes.
we're going to create a new world, we have to be brave enough to imagine a new world and what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And that world includes holidays that we want to celebrate, that we created on our own, that weren't handed to us. And um, yeah, I don't know.
Love it.
Yes. I don't know how we got there. Oh, because documentary. Because I'm like, how do we get there from R. Kelly
Mm-hmm.
and Usher?
I will say this Keep Sweet, it does deal with like child abuse and child
Yeah.
rape. So just
So
trigger
trigger
warning.
warning. Yeah.
And then if you can stomach it, they just released another one, and this one was called uh something. 1 second. But this one kind of dove. Oh, this one's called Trust Me, the False Prophet.
I was just about to ask you about that because I'm looking at that now. What is that?
So the first documentary that I told you about, you're going to be like learning about the FLDS and like their prophet. So it was Rulin Jeffs, and then his son Warren Jeffs took over. And so you're kind of learning like the history, because neither you or I would probably ever want to live that way, but
Mhm.
it wasn't as bad as it is now.
Mhm.
Like when Rulin was the prophet, like yes, was it they're still fundamentalist Mormons, so like conservative and all that, but like women could wear jeans and or denim, and like they
Mhm.
didn't have to braid their hair all, these uh crazy braids and stuff like that. Well, then Rulin got sick, and then like I think he had a stroke, and Warren, one of his sons, was just always in his ear. And then once Rulin died, Warren like came to the sect and was like, my father is speaking, through me, and so like now I'm the prophet. And so Warren like married some of his dad's wives, and like I think to this day Warren has like over 40 wives or something like that, even though he's in
Wow.
prison. Yeah.
Wow.
So you're going to be learning about like the Jeffs and like all that. And so the next documentary, you're going to be learning about Samuel Bateman, who was a part of the FLDS, but he was shunned from the community. And so then he started his own like um polygamous sect called the Samuelites.
Okay.
And essentially, he started doing the same thing. But the false prophet documentary kind of dives more into how there's human trafficking going on in these polygamous sects,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
with like everything going on in the world.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot there, like the Kingston clan is a polygamous sect up in Utah, and there's rumors that human trafficking is happening, and I want to say they're one of like the wealthier like polygamous sects, like worth millions, and I'm just
Mm.
like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
But not only like human trafficking, like sexual and labor,
Yeah.
because all these old men want to marry all these young girls. So then
Mhm.
all these young boys, get
Mhm.
kicked out of these communities because there's no need for them,
Mhm.
and like less, they don't want the young girls to go with the young
Sure,
boys.
sure. Yeah. So I have been, I've been elbows deep in the Epstein files for what, 6 months now, however long it's been, right? So I've been watching a lot of um, interviews of people who grew up in like MK Ultra and satanic cults and like all kinds of human trafficking content. And one thing that is a consistent thread throughout all of their stories, no matter where they are from, it seems, is religion, and specifically Mormons. There's a lot of Mormons that are participating in sexual abuse, ritual sexual abuse of children, girls and boys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see? So I know you saw Melania pop out and do her little press conference the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So have you seen the drama behind it?
So did she try to say that like she never knew or like met Epstein before? Is that what I
Well,
was?
she's definitely trying to act like they weren't as close as it appears that they were. She definitely tried to like distance herself
Mm-hmm.
and make it seem like, oh, we just ran in the same social circles, but we weren't friends like that. Yeah. So, there's all these victims that have been speaking for quite some time. So we talked about Sasha Riley, the boy who is allegedly responsible for Donald Trump wearing diapers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been kind of some updates on his story, but the Melania thing specifically, um, because that was kind of out of nowhere, right? Like your husband literally started a war halfway across the world, so we would stop talking about the Epstein files. So why are you just popping up out of nowhere and saying this miscellaneous thing that nobody asked you about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember when we talked about her name is Amanda Ungaro, and she is the wife of Paolo Zampoli, who is one of he's in Trump's cabinet right now today, and he's one of his like best friends, right hand man, whatever. Paolo Zampoli was married to Amanda Ungaro, and he had her deported by ICE earlier this year over a custody
Yes.
matter.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she was deported earlier this year. He stole their kid and had her deported. She's been in contact with several podcasters. She's now, so I want to say she's in Brazil. I think that's where she's from. So what it's looking like is what we already knew is that she was trafficked, right? Like, and so she was underage when she got with Paolo Zampoli, because we know Trump, if he doesn't love anything else, he loves to hang around pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
So she was underage when they got together. She's been around for 20 years though. So like she's known Melania for 20 years. And
Mm.
so she did a story for this news paper, and not a paper, but she did an interview with a journalist in Spain. And that interview, I want to say, dropped today, but it looks like it was kind of a hit piece where they're trying to do like a catch and kill on her story. But apparently, the journalist who was doing the story reached out to Melania for comment. That's why Melania popped out of nowhere and
Mm.
did that press conference, because she's feeling a little bit of heat. And so, oh girl, Amanda Ungaro started a Twitter account, and these messages have actually since been deleted, but I screenshot them when I saw them because I was like, what? So she posted to Melania, bless you, right around the time that Melania did that press conference, she had tweeted to her, I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I'm not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are and who your husband is. She says, I will take legal action against you and your pedophile husband. She's tweeting this at Flotus45 on Twitter, okay? It says, I've known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained in ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service. And then it's kind of cut off. But she has been snapping on Melania, okay? She was like, she called her a bitch and some more shit. I'm like, oh, snap. So I pray that all of this shit is just going to continue to come out. And even though I'm not religious, I use pray, in the sense that
yeah.
I'm just, but yeah, I just want this stuff to continue to come out and for people to continue to get more and more angry so that we can like do something about it.
100%. I've been meaning to send you this girl, but she pops up every once in a while. She is doing like a full deep dive on the Epstein files.
What's her name?
Becca Day.
I love Becca Day.
Okay,
So
yeah.
So Becca is actually in contact with this girl, with Amanda Ungaro.
Okay.
She's in contact with her, so it would not surprise me at all if an interview drops with Becca Day. I love her. Homegirl knows her shit, okay?
Yeah. I've been meaning, like, every time she pops up, I watch her videos, and then I'm always like, I need to send this to Tasha,
Yeah.
but then I just, like, keep going.
Yeah. No, I love Becca, and Becca is the reason I know who she is, actually. So
Okay, shout out.
Yep, shout out Becca Day. And she's on Twitter, she's on YouTube, she's on TikTok. Yeah, I love her.
Yes.
What else do we got?
Yeah, because did you hear of Palm Beach Pete?
I did. What the hell?
What do you think?
I mean, I think he looks exactly like Jeffrey Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if, so, there's a lot of speculation that the Zorro Ranch was a place where they were doing cloning and like body swapping and things like that at Zorro Ranch. And so I just wonder, so that Palm Beach Pete looks exactly like Jeffrey Epstein, and he's named in the Epstein files. Palm Beach Pete's name comes up if you search the Epstein files. So that's one, right? But he looks like him, but like slightly different, right? And that's the thing, if you look at clones, that when they make clones, it's the same genetics, but you don't necessarily look exactly the same. Similar, but not the same, right? And I'm thinking about like that kid that got caught. I want to say the kid that they have on trial for killing, or that they're going to take to trial for killing Charlie Kirk, to me kind of looks like a bootleg Charlie Kirk too. And so I just wonder if they're like cloning people and using them as like little hitman soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Like that just wouldn't, and I know it sounds like so over the top, but what I know for sure after digging all through these files, yeah. Yeah, like nothing is too over the top when they have unlimited money and they've been operating with impunity since before either of us was even born. Like the Finders and that whole child sex trafficking, I want to say that was in the 70s. Like I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been doing this shit for decades. And so that was one of the conversations I wanted to have with Kenny, and I will invite him back another time, because I want to have a conversation like, at what point are Black people, how do we sue for reparations and like separation. Like, I don't want to fuck with y'all no more.
Absolutely.
Give me my bread and stay the fuck away from me. That's where I'm at
Well,
with
and was it United Nations that recently said that like the Atlantic slave trade was one of the worst like atrocities to ever happen? But it was 3 countries that voted against it, and it was like the United States, Israel, and Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Was that it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which,
Yep.
Argentina is a little interesting because there's conspiracies that that's where Hitler really
Mm-hmm.
escaped to.
And where Donald Trump has riffed several times about escaping to. He's randomly said that in the middle of one of his word salads several times in the last few months about running off to
Mhm.
Argentina. And you
Mhm.
know, he loves Hitler, so.
Mhm. I might have asked you this before, but did you ever see the show Hunters on
Mm-mm.
Amazon Prime?
Mm-mm.
It's with Al Pacino.
Okay.
It's really good, but the whole premise is this young boy essentially finds out his grandma, she was in the Holocaust and she survived. And she's in the United States. Um and he like comes home one night and found her dead. And so it was the whole show you're kind of figuring out like what happened to his grandma. Like she was murdered. And so Al Pacino's character steps in and he's like, "Hey, so your grandma was actually a Nazi hunter and we think like a Nazi found her and like killed her." And this is set like in the 70s,
Is it
I
a
think.
true? Is it based on a true story or no? Okay.
Well, so they talk about Operation Paperclip, which was a real
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like where the facts come from, is like,
Okay.
the United States government had all these German scientists, engineers, doctors come over and we just threw away that they had like Nazi ties
Wow.
because
Yeah. Yep.
we wanted to get to the moon.
Yeah.
Um and so yeah, the grandson like joins this team and like is figuring out what the fuck's going on, cuz then you find out that the Fourth Reich is actually happening. And so they're trying to stop it. But yeah, there's a big twist in there about Mr. Hitler going down to Argentina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that before. That's not the first time I've heard that he didn't actually unalive himself and that basically he was helped to escape. So, and like I
Mhm.
said, what we know for sure is that they're not gonna investigate themselves and hold themselves accountable. So,
Right.
um, something that you said triggered for me. Um, I wanted to see. So, bless you. The
Thank you.
Holocaust resulted in the deaths of approximately 6 million Jewish people. The transatlantic slave trade resulted in the deaths of an estimated 2 to 3 million during the Middle Passage alone, with total African deaths from the entire slave trade process reaching up to 15 million. And so I do find it fascinating that we hear so much about the Jewish Holocaust and never forget and blah, blah, blah. And they got their reparations and continue to get them to this day. But anytime Black people say anything, then it's like, oh, it's in the past, even though it was literally double the amount. And that more than double the amount of African people who were killed. And that doesn't even include like King Leopold in what country? Belgium, from Belgium. He was from Belgium, and all the Africans that he murdered. And to this day, and I think we've talked about this on this podcast before too, that in Belgium, there's like little hand-shaped chocolates that are like still a delicacy in Belgium. And it's like really, it's signifying these African hands who were removed because they didn't want to do slave labor on their own land. Like, ah!
Literally. Ah. I want to say, was it Thomas Jefferson's black descendants? They called to one of his estates, I want to say within these past couple years, and was like,
Mm.
hey, because now all these DNA tests are very
Mhm.
popular and showing some lineage.
Mhm.
And they were like, hey, so we're a part of the family. Like, do we get some of that? The white family was like, no.
I hope they sue them for
Right?
their reparations. I hope they sue them. And I don't know if you saw that Henrietta Lacks family just won another suit as well.
Mm-hmm.
The one whose DNA was stolen and used and continues to
Mm-hmm.
be used to this day. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
it's like, what are we doing?
yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I forgot, and so I'm definitely gonna have this conversation with my cousin while he's in town because I really want to know, like, how do we sue? How do we sue? Because clearly it's not going to be done willingly, and I'm sick of waiting. And like I said, now they're already, as we're in a space where they're rebranding and recalculating, and they're still not including Black people in the conversations. Like, they just think that they're just going to continue to like eat off of our culture and like use us for what they want to, like have us around to like entertain them while they just continue to like we're not, no, damn it, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm sick of it. Give me
I'm
my
over it.
bread.
Well, and I hate too, like how you were saying, oh, never forget the Holocaust or never forget 9/11. And I hate when people are like, well, slavery, was 400 years ago. Okay, well, that was slavery. We're not talking about like segregation or fucking Jim Crow or just everyday fucking racism.
Redlining,
Yeah.
police violence.
Like,
And not
right.
to mention that I met my great grandmother's mom. I met her. She was born into slavery. It's not as far away, it's not as long ago as they want us to believe
No.
it was.
Well, and hearing that like all the photos during the civil rights were like made to be black and white to kind of trick you into thinking that, oh, well, that happened so long ago. Like, that is gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gaslighting.
excuse you, Roman. Also, how is that not psychological warfare?
Literally. No, it is. It literally is. It literally is.
Like,
I love to tell people my mom drank out of separate water fountains. My mom.
right.
Not my great great grandma. My mom drank out of separate water fountains.
I forgot if I brought this up last time, but did you ever see that meme? And it's like, damn, Earth is just really boring. Like, there's no vampires, there's no fairies, no werewolves, like aliens, all this stuff. And it was like, someone commented, they're like, y'all couldn't even handle someone else's skin color being different. So chill out.
Relax. Seriously. Seriously.
Like, what?
Yeah. No, every day at this point is yeah, just me trying not to put my hands on people, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that this, I mean, I saw it earlier when we were talking about the clones. It says Queen Elizabeth very openly had body doubles. I didn't know that. That's actually the first time I've ever heard that.
Mm.
Interesting. I know that Melania has body doubles though. I call them all fake Melania.
I mean,
But
I would imagine, right, if you're a person of that high of status, like you're
mhm,
probably not just going anywhere.
mhm,
So
mhm,
like I could also see with the queen, like she was old. Like
mhm,
I'm sure there were some places where she probably couldn't go.
mhm, mhm.
And again, that ventriloquist stuff that I was saying, like
What was the name of that movie?
dead silence.
I just have a long ass list of movies that you've brought up over time. And I mean, I'm not a movie watcher, but sometimes I just get in a mood. That's how I
Yeah.
ended up watching Sinners recently. I'm
Yes.
still obsessed. I'm still
So
obsessed. My whole
good.
algorithm now is Sinners. Like every day it's like, oh, but did you see this interview that Ryan Coogler did? Um, so good. So good. I don't know if I told you, I actually took a day off last week and had like a Ryan Coogler movie watching marathon.
Nice.
Yeah, Wednesday, I think it was. I just took the day off. And so I rewatched Fruitvale Station, which I actually had seen, but didn't know who Ryan Coogler was. It was his first movie. And so, but I
Mhm.
had seen and sobbed like a baby in the movie theater when I watched it originally.
Mhm.
Still fired today. Um, and then I watched Creed, which was also really good. And I rewatched Sinners because now I had like let it settle in my soul. So now I'm like, let me go back and like see what I missed. So good.
Yes.
So good.
I would like Michael and Tessa to do another movie together. I think they have really
You
good
said who?
chemistry. Tessa Thompson.
She's so cute. Yeah, I love their chemistry. No, they're super cute. Her and Michael B. Jordan together, super cute. Michelle, I do remember when Michelle Obama popped up at Target, and this says Queen Elizabeth hired many people who would stand in for her. I've seen a short interview from one. What? It's interesting that they were allowed to be open about it. Queen Elizabeth. Oh, and then it just popped up again. Okay. That's fascinating. No, I'm totally gonna look that up. Queen Elizabeth. That's literally my first time ever hearing that, but I don't know why I love stuff like that. Like I will go down that wormhole for days. Okay, it's just fascinating to me.
It is. One of the things that I heard recently, well, and I've always like kind of thought this ever since I saw that one video, but more and more people are starting to speculate that what if aliens are just descendants of us?
What
And
descendants of us?
because there was, I know I talked about it on here, but I saw a video in like middle school, and it was supposedly like leaked footage from like a 1960 interview from Area 51. And in the video it's these two like agents, and then what I mean, looks like an alien, like a giant head, big eyes, like not human.
Mm-hmm.
And in the interview, they ask it like, where did you come from? And it says that like I'm from Earth. And they
Like
were
you said,
like, now,
maybe.
and they were like, well, just the other day, or when we asked you, you said, and I quote, had traveled thousands of light years to get here. And so it was like, yes. And they were like, tell us the truth. And it was like, it is the truth. I am from Earth, from your future. To travel in time is to travel in space, offset spatial divergence. And so the agents were like, so I take it aliens took over our future. And it says no. And so the interviewers are like, and I wrote like this interview down, so I'm like
Mm.
reading off of that. The interviewers, so you're human, and it says I'm an evolutionary descendant, and it says so you they asked, so you evolved from us, And it says, yes. And they ask, so what are you doing here now? Observing since evidence was destroyed. How? Nuclear war. Small numbers survived. Our ancestors. And then they say, how about we concentrate on your time? And it says, you are not capable of comprehending or accepting the discoveries of my time. And they go, try me. And they say, the origin of the universe, the nature of so-called life, it is known. And they go, so you know the meaning of life. And it says, not meaning, nature. And they say, what's the difference? Meaning is something that is ascribed. Nature is the objective reality. Interviewer, so you know how the universe is created? Yes. Interviewer, so you've seen God. We evolved past a need for superstition, the need for a god and other myths. And they go, okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die? Death is a human construct. It does not exist. You will experience and have experienced every instance of so-called life. You, me, him, we're instances of the same life separated by what you call death. So let me get this straight. There's no death and we all experience each other's lives. In essence, yes. So how was the universe created and why is it so perfectly made for us? There are infinite number of universes, each with different physical properties. Virtually all do not support life such as you know it. We exist in a universe that does support so-called life. That is all. Interviewer, moving on. So why do we destroy ourselves with nuclear war? Dogma. Interviewer, can you be more specific, please? Political and religious dogma. It is the root of all major conflict of your species. In your next century, because remember, this was supposedly back in like 1965. So, in your next century, access to weaponry of mass destruction by states that are ruled by dogma will destroy your species. And they're like, interviewer, okay, one last thing. What about morality? What do you base your morality on? Compassion and evidence. And now, granted, I know that video could have been fake, but that message has always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, because I first saw that video in middle school, and every year it has been harder and harder and harder to find that
I
video.
feel like you sent that video to me too. I'm pretty sure I've watched
Yeah, I
that.
think once I like finally found it, I think I did
Yes.
like send it to somebody because I was like,
So
this
you
was the
better,
video.
yeah, you better download it because it will disappear one time or screen record it or something because there will come a day where you won't be able to find it. It reminded me, like the cadence and the questions reminded me of this book called Conversations with God. It's by Neil Donald Walsh, and like kind of the premise of it is this guy was just like having a really rough time of life. Like I think he had gotten laid off and maybe his wife left him and like he's just having a really rough time of life. And one night he kind of like cries out to God, like he's just angry, right? And so he's just like, whatever, and just like screams out, or he might have been cussing at him. I don't know, but he was whatever, he was having beef with God. And he tries to go to sleep, he can't sleep, and so he like feels the urge to write and he can't sleep. So he finally just gets up and starts writing. And what he writes basically is this book, and it's called Conversations with God. And it's like he's asking God these questions and writing down what he feels are answers that he was inspired to answer. And he starts off the book with like, especially religious people are going to find this blasphemous, but like, this is what happened and this, whatever. The book, I will tell anyone who will listen, this book changed my life. Because I found it at a time where I was really questioning life and religion and like whether or not God even existed and like all these things. And I've always been an avid reader. And I had just gone to the library. I didn't know. I go in phases, right? So I'll read like a bunch of biographies, and then I'll read like a bunch of fiction, and like maybe this month I'm feeling Stephen King, so I'll read all Stephen. You know what I mean? I just go in kind of
Mhm.
waves. And so this particular day at the library, I didn't really have anything that I was looking for. I was just kind of wandering,
Mhm.
and I sat down like in the middle of it. I'm like reading the titles of books and just like wandering, but I sat down, and when I sat down and kind of looked straight ahead, this book, Conversations with God, caught my eye. And so I ended up
Mm.
reading it. I now I own it. I've bought it several times because I've given it away a couple of times too, but it's really, really good. And I'm pretty sure now it's an audiobook too, but
Okay,
no,
I was just gonna look it up.
yeah, it's really good. And the way that those questions and answers were formatted reminds me a lot of, in fact, I might dig it back out because there's a lot of questions about like war and different things. And it ended up being, I want to say, a trilogy. It started out Conversations with God, and then there's like Friendship with God and something
Mm.
else. I don't remember. But the Conversations with God literally changed my life.
Okay. Do you
Changed
remember
my
who
life.
it's by?
Neil Donald Walsh.
Perfect. Got
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yep. And I wish, yeah, it's not in here. I have a bookshelf in here, but this is my office. I'm pretty sure all my books in here are like business books. But yeah, Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, so good, so
Okay.
good. Like, just makes your brain like, yeah, really
I do like things like that.
good.
I know there was a documentary. What was that called? Um, and one of the doctors that they had in there, or scientists maybe, um, he talked about how nowadays it's more common to have UFO sightings kind of all over, but how
Mhm.
when they first started, or like people were first kind of seeing them, it was always around nuclear power plants.
That's fascinating.
Mhm. And he said that him and his team were like working on sending a signal into outer space, and like for however long that they'd been trying, they never got like any responses. um but then one time something came back,
Mm.
and he says how like the next day the FBI came in and took like everything, and how essentially he's telling you in the documentary like everything you're learning is because they didn't take the one file that he had in his hand as they were going through. Yeah. And
Wow.
I have to try and find it, but like he said that he knew like Marilyn Monroe, and he says that she was killed because she knew too much about the unknown.
Mm.
And because they tapped her phone, and I guess in some of her phone calls she tells like JFK, like, if you don't talk to me, I'm gonna go to the public about what I saw on base, because
Mm.
she was taken to one of like the military bases.
Wow.
And then yeah, like 3 days later she was found dead from an
Yeah.
overdose. And he talks about how there was like kind of a private club that like her and others went to, and he was a member, and he went, and everyone was talking about Marilyn dying, but everyone was shocked that it was from an overdose. And he was like, everyone there would have told you Marilyn didn't do drugs.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Well,
the more I learn about Marilyn, like, seems like she was a pretty big activist for her time as well. And yeah, why wouldn't they want to off her or
yeah.
someone like her?
Yeah. So two things. One, I have been seeing rumblings lately about how the blue and white state was behind JFK's assassination. And I find that fascinating because he
Mm.
was basically the only president to ever tell them no. So I find that fascinating. Um, and the other thing is uh, that they literally have dropped in the last 6 months, have dropped proof that aliens exist and that we've been in contact with them. But because our president's such a numbskull, like nobody even cares. I just also find that because any other time we would be all over that, but it's like so much is going on that like we can't even with the aliens.
Mm-hmm. Literally. Well, and then did you hear? I'd have to look more into it, but um with that the shooter of JFK, I saw something and they were saying that they think the real shooter was in the car with him and was sitting in front. And then how they were like explaining it was because Jackie tried to go out like the back.
She did, and she did.
And like, and I was thinking, I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, that would,
that is a
like, why
weird.
would she do that?
Yeah, yeah. No, it is weird. It is
Hmm.
weird.
Yeah, very
Whew.
interesting. The
So many
documentary,
things.
I think it's called Unacknowledged 2017. And the Dr. Stephen Greer was his name.
Thank you. And just like that, we have yapped for another 2 hours.
So easy when the world's falling apart.
Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us for another 2 hours and for all of your participation. We appreciate you. Shout out again to Kendrick for providing all of his
Yes. Yes, he's allowed
lawyerly
to come back.
insight. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you